27 years after deadly events, the traumatized Losers Club have to face their fears once more. Will they be able to stop a killer clown and end the nightmare? All this can mean only one thing. We're comparing It and It Chapter 2 on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Retro vs. Remake!
Nice. I'm Reggie Parker.
I'm Dan Farley. I was doing my best prom pose right there.
That's a nice prom
Thank
pose.
you very much. But it was more like the Christmas, like a holiday. Like, oh, he's going for Winter Queen. What's going on, folks? How are you?
Absolutely. We're back.
We're back, baby. Chapter 2 to relive some more childhood trauma.
Trauma.
Before we get into this,
Yeah.
I was literally thinking, what if if this came up now that it realized that we had some past demon that we forgot about,
Right.
how would you literally handle it?
How would I handle it?
Yes, like if, let's say it turned out that you and I had this clown, like if it was the same exact situation, but it happened to us right now,
Right.
and we're someone called us, let's say, I don't know, Alex Nicholas called us up and said, hey, you need to come back to Jersey City.
Sure.
and then once we got there, we're like, oh shit, this fucking clown.
Right. So we moved and we had successful lives.
Yes.
And there was no
Yes,
problem.
there's no problems. And we forgot about it completely like
Never
everyone else
thought
did.
about,
Never thought about it.
Not our problem.
Not our problem, not my problem.
But I made a promise when I was 11.
Yes. We made the promise.
And now I'm 40.
Now you're 40.
And it's very important that I go back.
Correct.
And face a murder.
Yes, in real life. Like right
Yeah,
now.
no, right
in
now.
this
right
situation.
Now. No, I get that. But if we don't go, everyone's fine.
I don't know. Probably not.
Well,
people we don't know are not fine.
Oh, sure.
You might read about it on the news and be like, "Ooh, tough break, kid."
Well, then it does become a moral question.
Yes.
Would I? I don't know.
But I mean, literally, what do we do? I was thinking, you put it lit. It would end with you putting it in a leg lock and me dropping cinder blocks on his head until it died.
I see what you're saying. Actually, have to do it. First of all,
and then Dan beat him to death with a hammer.
I'd be much more prepared than these fucks.
Oh my god!
We had
and much more bloodthirsty.
Oh yeah, it would look like Rambo. You'd see me with the head.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd be like Gizmo and Gremlins too. I would be like, oh, did you see Dan? Yeah, he just came in with 2 hammers and beat it.
Hey, it is what it is. Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out.
Oh, man.
Sorry for the side note, guys. Now on to the movie.
Yeah, just go right into it. We'll give you a quick breakdown. The 1990 miniseries, we're focusing on the second part of it, so we're only going to talk about...
Part 2. Deuces, son.
The adults in this. Starring, as always, Tim Curry.
Yes, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, Richard Thomas, Annette O'Toole, John Ritter. You know that one.
John Ritter.
You know that one. Harry Anderson.
Night Court himself, baby. Harry T. Anderson.
Dennis Christopher, Tim Reed, and Richard Mauser.
No idea.
Let's see.
I think what's the first guy was Laura Dern's father in Ozark. The guy who played Bill. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
That's about the only person that's done anything other than John Ritter or Harry Anderson.
John Ritter's that dude.
And rest in peace, both of them.
Yeah.
Pour one out for both.
Absolutely. Let's see. In 1990 was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. Screenplay adapted by Lawrence D. Cohen. And of course, the original story is from Stephen King's 1986 novel of the same name. It, Chapter 2, from 2019. Starring Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, Bill Hader, Isaiah Mustafa, Jay Ryan, James Ranson, Andy Bean, and Bill Skarsgård.
Much more notable.
A lot more recognizable names there. Let's see. Directed by Andy Muschietti with a screenplay written by Gary Doberman. again, it's a follow up to it's a follow up to It from 2017. So
Is it just me, or does the title It Chapter 2 sound deceiving? Like there's supposed to be 37 It movies.
right, yeah.
Instead of 2. Why not part 2?
I don't
know.
That makes sense.
Like that makes much sense. Chapter 2. Like if I read a book with 2 chapters, that is not a book. That
true.
is a short story.
I could tell exactly what you mean because, like, when I was looking up It Chapter 2, like, Chapter 3 would come up, Chapter 4.
Yeah.
So, like, the audio book was coming up. I was like, okay, guys.
Exactly.
Like, part 2 would have made more sense. Like, trying to do the book thing when you're just a movie at this point, like, doesn't hold up.
Yeah, unless it's like Quentin Tarantino. He has, like, 6 chapters. Okay, in his movies.
Sure. I'm okay with that.
Whatever. But, like, 2, that's literally the minimum.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess we do this. I know we talked about it a bit, but like first experience with these 2 films.
The first experience. Well, the second one. I guess we talked about the first one. I saw it. It was terrifying. I remember when it was on. It was fucking terrifying. But the second one I saw, and I remember thinking, how long is this goddamn movie?
Yeah.
Like what?
3 hours.
Like I got shit to do.
3 hours.
I had like 3 hours, and like once you know how it ends, like I don't know. But I was excited to see it though, and I don't think I may have watched this during pandemic. This may have been watched during lockdown. No, maybe not.
It came out in 2019, so
Was it 2019?
It came out in 2019, so unless you saw it in theaters.
No, I didn't see it in theaters,
Then
so I
you
did
probably
watch.
saw it during
I saw it
pandemic.
during pandemic.
Because I don't know exactly when this came out, but you gotta imagine it's probably around Halloween.
Yeah.
So by the time it released, it would have been probably.
Like chapter 1, I remember seeing in the movies. I remember
Right.
what movie theater it was in South Orange and whatever,
Yeah.
which was scary enough when you went outside.
Yeah.
It was nothing in comparison to that. But the original, but the second one, I think I saw in. I think I saw it like I was laying in bed watching it. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Not like going to sleep and like, oh, one eye open, but I was intently watching it like from my bed during pandemic, I think.
The cover's like.
Yeah, with the covers like, oh, get away from it. Eddie, no!
Run!
Run, Eddie, your asthma!
Yeah. As always, like, a running theme with this series is like horror isn't really my genre. So, first time was basically for this podcast.
Yeah.
But like, it was pretty easy. Like I watched the miniseries on like Vudu or whatever, and then it was on HBO Max at the time, so I was able to watch it all of it, kind of all at the same time.
I think my favorite thing about the It miniseries was I remember my ex at the time. She never saw it, and I think I used my boss's Amazon Prime to buy it.
That's awesome.
So I think.
I'm cool with that.
Yes, me too.
I'm cool with
Statute of limitations got to be up on that.
Has to be. I mean, honestly, what's he gonna come back to you for $20? I don't even think you can do that small claims court.
Yeah, good luck me showing up.
Exactly. We'll do a quick synopsis and we'll just dive right into this shit.
Let's get into it, guys.
Heard the first one. And if you haven't heard it, go back and watch.
Go back and watch that.
Let's break down.
This won't make any sense. Yes, it will.
It'll make a lot of sense either way. Contrary to what some people think about the film, we watched a YouTube video kind of recapping. We disagree.
The British just don't understand horror.
They don't.
And their horror is like, sorry, someone like spit in the king's.
The queen had the wrong fork.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my lord! Oh, it's that and comedy. It's just two different things. I don't understand. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
The London silly nannies. You know?
Yeah, I don't. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Agree to disagree.
Do you think it's because they don't have black people there?
I think they don't have enough black people.
Enough black people, yeah. I think that's it. Like, if you need to see a horror movie, you need to see it with black people in the audience. It's like watching magic.
Oh, yeah.
You need to have black people there. It's the best thing in the world.
This is a complete aside, but I watched Ocean's 8, and I was sitting next to a black couple, and they made that movie much more enjoyable.
Your parents?
I wish. Nice. No. But it was like, just stating obvious things that were happening on screen. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, don't you go in there? Like, you need that.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
do need that.
And you need like, I will kick this motherfucking clown's ass.
Yeah.
Like, I need that.
You need that.
You need that. And same thing with magic. When you're like, oh, like they look at them like this like David Blaine is a sorcerer. And that, and also like the comedy. Like I think the whole revolution of
Like the Def Jamification.
yeah, the Def Jamification of like roasts.
Yeah.
And roast battles and stuff. That came from like much more hip hop
Yeah,
than it did from
totally.
like the Dean Martin roasts, you know?
No, that's true. Like, actually, for whatever reason, I'm just thinking about it now. Like, there was a 10-year stretch where, like, I couldn't tell you the name of one white comic
Yeah.
that was alive, maybe besides Rich Voss. Because I was watching so much Def Jam and, like, Comic View.
Yes.
Yeah, no, black people really help. And, like, I think that's why
As far as that goes.
Idris Elba has been elevated so high
Yes.
in London.
Like Knuckles fame. What is that?
Oh, man, yeah, we were watching a football game.
And Idris Elba was there.
And they had all the worst references. He
Like,
was Himdall from
Himdall,
Thor.
like, the fourth lead in Thor? That's fucking Stringer Bell, bro.
Who could forget Knuckles?
Yeah, Knuckles. They're like, yo, I'm calling this guy Knuckles. Like, what? Yo, Luther?
Hell, even Beast, and
Yeah.
the movie's out in theaters
Yeah,
right
the
now.
fucking, you could, I don't know, future James Bond? I don't know.
Possibly,
Anything,
we'll see.
possibly. Anyway,
I hope.
yeah.
Well, here's a quick synopsis so we can turn this.
Guy who will fuck your wife in front of you?
And what are you going to do about it?
What do you do about it? Nothing.
Nope. You'll just enjoy it.
You'll just call him Hemdale.
Damn. That's what happened there. That guy got his wife fucked, so he was like, how do I gotta take him down a peg.
Fucking Mark Sanchez.
Oh, man. Alright, so quick, and I mean quick synopsis. Defeated by members of the Losers Club, the evil clown Pennywise returns 27 years later to terrorize the town of Derry, Maine once again. Now adults, their childhood friends have long since gone their separate ways, but when people start disappearing, Mike Hanlon calls the others home for one final stand. Damaged by scars from the past, the united losers must conquer their deepest fears to destroy the shape-shifting Pennywise, now more powerful than ever. That's it.
Yep.
27 years pass, these traumatized people are now adults, living their own lives. They have to come back to their childhood homes and deal with a even stronger demonic demon clown thing.
Yes, even stronger, I guess.
Yeah. And they really lean into the trauma.
Yeah, really lean into the trauma. And I don't know. And the more I watched this movie, the more I thought about my own childhood trauma. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I might be better. I might have more. I think I might have more.
Yeah.
Like I might have worse things happen to me. Yes. Like, let's see. Where do you want to start here?
Well,
like,
I think there's a reason why people become comedians.
yes, I think
Let's
so.
put it that way.
Yes, Richie. What? By the way, when I was watching Richie, like how he's a stand-up comedian in the second one, because in the first one he's like, I don't know what kind of comedian he is. What would you call that? Like post-modernist vaudeville? I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Like it's what the fuck are you doing? Like he's wearing like a hat with like a flower with bubbles all around him. I don't know what's going on. And
it was weird.
yeah, and by the way, not very funny. Like, if he was hanging out, I'd be like, you guys are laughing at this? Like, I'd be furious if I was, like, the crowd was laughing and I was in the back and watching him on stage and he was killing. I'd be like, what are you, it's like, are you fucking laughing at this? Like, what do I even bother writing jokes for?
I could be wrong about this, but did he have props? I feel like there were
Yes,
props.
there were props. There were absolutely props. He was wearing a goddamn Laurel and Hardy hat.
There's only one prop comic and his name is Carrot Top.
Yeah, his name's Carrot Top. And if you want to go the call Gallagher, that motherfucker has jokes too. Okay?
Gallagher could spit. Gallagher 2 could spit.
Gallagher 2 could spit. Black Gallagher could spit.
Black Gallagher.
I got one.
Alright, we're going to jump into each of the characters, and then, we'll come back to maybe some of the action and stuff. But let's just start with characters. In 1991, Richard Thomas portrays Bill Denbrough.
I think they renamed him for this movie. It's just called Ponytail.
Ponytail, for sure.
Ponytail.
Yeah, he's got a ridiculous ponytail. And just for the audience, he's the stuttering founder of the Losers Club, whose desire to kill Pennywise is heavily influenced by the death of his young brother, Georgie.
Let me tell you, his mole might deserve an Emmy. Because I was glued to it the whole time, just like, like staring at the fucking mole in his
mole.
And his wife who goes into a coma halfway through because she sees the deadlights. I don't I couldn't tell because she seemed exactly the same throughout the entire movie. She's as bland. Yeah, that could have been just a cardboard cutout of a woman, like a cartoon woman waving, and it would have been the same.
It would have been about the same.
The same.
Actually, that's a great point. We'll bring her up really quick, just because there's no equivalent.
Yeah.
New film.
Bill's wife sucks in the second one.
She really
That's story's over. Because James McAvoy would have a hard time keeping a woman, I'm sure.
totally.
Totally believable.
That's Olivia Hussey plays.
Hussey.
Olivia Hussey plays Audra Dimbro.
Don't you want her? Don't you want her? Don't you want her?
Just bring her up because she's more fleshed out in the It miniseries.
I guess.
I don't think
Is she?
she's in it.
She's in it.
That's really the only difference.
With some accent.
She gets
Where's
kidnapped.
She, from? She gets kidnapped
They-
by Pennywise, which the weirdest plot I've ever seen. Like, why are you kidnapping her? Why not just kill her? Pull a 7. Send him her head.
That would have been more appropriate than what we got. Is that pretty?
It doesn't make sense. She, with her accent that goes no, it's like, where are you from?
I have no idea where she's from.
The Upper West Side.
They never explain it. They don't
Never.
explain anything about her.
It's like, is it
Which is
Asian?
why when she gets,
is
like-
it European? I don't know. It doesn't, like, I couldn't even nail it down to a continent.
Totally.
It could be African.
It really could be. I could see it as South African
Yeah,
for sure.
it could be.
And like because we don't flesh that character out, like why is she there?
I mean, I think she was a stand-in for a scarecrow, to be honest with you, for most of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
it was just a scarecrow. Like,
Just to make sure we can dive into that. In the remake, James McAvoy plays William Bill Dimbro. Again, described as a resourcefully determined former leader of the Losers Club, who hunted down and defeated it in the summer. Who hunted down and defeated it in the summer of 1989. So, going back to our friend Richard, who's playing Bill in the original film, looks nothing like the kid.
no. Not even close.
Has this crazy ponytail.
I was like, I could sooner see Jonathan Brandis, like, stealing my wife than Bill.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what, a ponytail. Like, it's just, that's what I'm calling him.
Yeah,
Ponytail.
no,
That
I'm
was
calling
his
him ponytail
biggest-
for now.
That was his biggest character, That was his biggest, like, crutch of a character. It's like, oh, he's got a ponytail.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. Looks like a horse.
I'll give him this, like, his main mode in the entire film is, like, childlike fear. Like, he's constantly kind of, like, cowering and
Yeah.
being afraid of things.
But he's the one that's not, like, young Bill wasn't. You know, like, he was like, hey, let's go. We gotta kill it.
Right.
And it's silver. We could kill it. How do you know? Anyway, did you read a book?
Not even a little bit. Like, he's the leader, right? He's supposed to be the leader, but I'm not feeling that in the miniseries. Like,
No.
he feels very reluctant
He was
do...
the leader because it was written in the script.
Right.
He was the leader.
But he seems so reluctant to do anything.
Anything.
Like, he doesn't want to go.
Doesn't.
He doesn't want to fight it.
No.
He's looking for every single out possible.
Every out possible.
I think that's why you have to kidnap his mute wife.
Yes.
So that, like, he actually finishes it.
What was her name? Audra?
Audra, yeah.
Which is also...
Audra.
I'm sorry to anyone named Audra out there. It's
Yeah.
the worst
yeah,
name in
it's
the
not a
world.
great name. Audra Hussey even doubled down on.
Just his he was stuttering. Audra.
Yeah.
Just, ugh.
Yeah, when his stuttering comes back, it's so bad.
And it's so random.
It comes and goes.
And I think, Bill, you stutter here. Why? Because I pointed there.
Yep. And, like, because of that, like, I didn't feel like they're, like, coming back to Derry and, like, falling back into, like, their childhood, like,
Nothing at all.
tics.
Not even close.
You don't even realize it's happening until so deep into the movie.
No, they might as well have been black when they were younger. Like, and Mike should have been white. Like, it's not even close.
It's true. Like, when James McAvoy starts stuttering,
Yeah.
it, like...
He's a good actor.
Yeah, that's a dude. He's a good actor.
good actor.
James McAvoy's a pretty
Like,
goddamn
we
good actor.
can just put that aside. Like, just time out on the whole, like, the miniseries. The casting in It Part 2 phenomenal. Like,
Phenomenal.
It's like, yes. The only one I would have done is I would have got, for Stan, I would have got Jason Schwartzman. Like, here is $30,000.
Yeah.
Just do this for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that would have worked really good.
Yeah.
Schwartzman would have been pretty good there.
Yeah, because the guy kind of looked like Jason Schwartzman,
Yeah.
but it was like, it was the Wish.com Jason Schwartzman.
Well, you're going to have him in for 15
Yeah,
minutes.
15 minutes.
Not
That kills
like
himself.
15 minutes, like filming, like 2 seconds in screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, but James McAvoy is so much more, like, of a leader, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he actually has the most motivation to kill it.
Yes.
And that's very apparent.
He killed his brother.
We can't let it happen again.
Hello?
Jay!
Yeah, and that comes up. He brings it up regularly. It's his motivation. Speaking of motivation, I guess like in the 2 films, what brings the Losers Club back?
Yes.
This is where the miniseries I think takes a lead, right? Like when the little girl's on the tricycle and gets murdered, kind of like kids in the town. Like that makes sense,
Yes.
right? Kid gets killed, and it brings people back. Why does the It Chapter 2 start with like a gay bashing randomly?
Well, I know in the book that happens, but I
Okay.
think that happens in 1955. In the book. Like, they...
Okay.
I think it's these guys, they're getting terrorized, and he rips them apart.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that was just like a...
Like
Because I think it was just... But it sounded like so much more set up that, like, not only is this a child-killing monster,
Right.
also, he's a homophobe.
Yeah. No, because if you were like pro Pennywise, like, nah, we gotta break him down.
Yo, he's got it cool, even though he kills us. Oh, the gays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Mike Hanlon in the first film
He...
is like goes to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, which... Yeah, because I let all my librarians hang
Of
out at
course.
child murder scenes in the rain. And then he finds the one clue that Pennywise left behind
Right.
for him. Be like, wink, it's me.
Right.
I killed Georgie. Here's Georgie's picture. Where'd you get Georgie's picture? It doesn't matter.
You just had it.
He just had it, his school picture.
And like Geordie's
That was clearly his headshot.
Right.
The kid's
Right,
headshot
right.
from when he auditioned. It's like, just use that.
But like, why would Mike's trigger be Georgie's picture?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Right,
Like, did you even know Georgie?
Right.
Like, were you even friends then?
No.
No, you
I
didn't.
never
You weren't
met
even
Georgie.
friends. You never met him.
They weren't friends when Georgie was alive.
No.
It was like, did he read about him in like an obituary?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, man.
And then, like, but by the way, like, I'm looking at there's pictures of, like, your father. Like, I know what your father looks like. But if I met your father as a young man, it's not because I saw that, like,
Right.
I'd be like,
Right.
saw your father. Like, I would never recognize it from a picture.
Totally. Like, as bad as that is, it makes
From
more...
30 years ago, by the way.
Of course. Like, 27 years. Georgie's picture. The picture of a child you never met from 27 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking, that's Bill's brother. Better call Bill. Like, it makes no sense.
Oh, and that also when you said about the gay murder and stuff.
Yeah.
That, like, when he's swimming in the water after falling off the bridge, and then he's
Yeah.
like floating there, like, yeah, and offers his hand for help. I'm gonna take my chance in the water. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Like, I'm not good. Thank you, sir. I know this the saying, any port in a storm, and literally you're in it, but
Yeah.
well,
To be fair, he took a lot of head trauma, so maybe
his
his
eyes are glowing.
clearly an evil clown.
Yeah, he's clearly not human.
No, like, you're right. Like, at that point, you mind your own business. You get gay bash in town. You're in the river. You're
Yeah.
like, there's a clown on the side where it's like, fuck this town.
Yeah, exactly. But in the book, it was much more like, I don't know. I'll actually elaborate on that. Do you
Sure.
think that the gay bashing was a result of it, like, influencing them?
I think because that kid is there who seems to be influenced by it.
Yeah.
The kid who's basically like gay bashing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is its influence. It still doesn't really land.
Yeah,
for
it
me.
doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it lands. I don't think they land. They
Yeah.
get it because it's clearly it's supposed to be it doing
Right.
that. Like he's the one, like almost like the whole thing is like there's
Like
a
he's driving
shadow.
him to be.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
a whole shadow. That's why all the adults are so messed up.
Okay.
Because he's kind of like casting a spell on them, and that's what he drives them into like that builds the fear so
Yeah.
that he could kill them and like it all the more.
Well, I think because everyone's.
But he does it, and it doesn't come across in that.
No, no. I think the way they film it, that doesn't come across. Like I said, I think by having that kid be kind of influenced, that's them attempting to do that.
Yeah.
But like, I think the problem with this scene is that, cool isn't it's a callback to like the book, but like,
Yeah.
who are these
Yeah.
gay guys? I don't know who they are. I don't know who anybody in the scene is.
Yeah. But if anything, like I know it's supposed to make you be like, isn't he a monster?
Right.
But it more made me think of fuck this town.
Yeah, no,
like
that's
why
exactly
are
how I
you
felt.
saving this town? Fuck him.
Exactly.
Like get out and stay out. Guess what? Those kids got killed. Yeah, I know it's hard to say, but those kids would have grown up to be assholes too.
Right. My thing too is that like if it has all this influence, right? Like you might as well be watching like when you're a kid and you have like the action figure. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'm a gay guy. Oh. Like that's basically what's happening. Like
Ooh, are you
he's
reading
so
my
bored.
diary?
He's so bored. He's like, let me go
Yeah,
gay
that's
bashing
nice.
today.
You know what? Like he's going out for Thai food.
Yeah.
Going out for some gay.
Yeah. So like, and then to have Mike kind of be listening to like the police blotters, which makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Than being on the scene, but like, again, because I think the kid dying in the scene, kind of following that, the kid with the mark on her face.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your call in, sure.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, the gay bashing is like, let's call the boys back.
Yeah, it's like that's not like it's not a kid. It's not like really anything equated. It's
Right.
like you're really putting this
Yeah.
puzzle together. Like
Jamming the story.
jamming it like for no reason. Although I figure that he's like because he's the only one that remembers
He's the only person because he stayed.
because
in
he
town.
stayed in town. That so I think he knows. Like he
Right.
has it marked in his calendar.
Right.
Like this is the year.
Yeah.
So the first thing that pops up, he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like he might be overreacting. I mean, obviously he's not. It's,
No, no.
it's a double murder.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Sure.
it's a double homicide caused by a clown, which he happens to be right, but he
Right.
doesn't know he's right. But
I agree.
but he I think he just jumped the gun on calling them, but I don't know, but yeah, but I think he had it marked.
Yeah.
I think he's ready for this year. I mean, he was clearly ready. By the time everyone got back, he's like, guys, got a plan.
Totally.
Like, we're gonna take ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah. The amount.
Hear me out. You guys like cartoons?
You know
What about cartoon cave paintings?
Since we're talking about it, we'll bring him up because I do want to talk a little bit more
Mike.
about Bill. But Mike Hanlon starts both of these sort of segments.
Let me ask you a question. How old is Mike Hamlin in the miniseries? 62? 6?
He just fucking might
Easy.
be. He just fucking might be.
He's like, they black don't crack? That's a bunch of bullshit, okay?
That dude is.
That guy is 64 years old.
That ancient man is
Yeah.
Tim Reed
Tim
in
Reed.
1990 who portrays Mike Hanlon.
Well, Mikey, you did it. You got us all back here. I guess it's because it's the only way you'd ever see us. Since you're so lame, you'd never leave this town.
The only black person in the Losers Club, as well as the only one to remain in Deary following the Losers Club first defeat of it in 1960.
The only one to work for Lincoln. Jesus, fucking...
The fucking car factory?
No.
the president.
The president.
He was at Gettysburg.
He was at Gettysburg. He's his fucking secretary.
In the remake,
He used his back to write the speech. Fucking
that's great.
Mike Tab.
Oh man,
74 years old, Mike. What are you still doing here? You aged
move.
horribly.
just move, man.
Just move.
In the remake, Isaiah Mustafa plays Mike Hanlon.
If it ever comes back, we'll come back to you.
We didn't stop it.
This one doesn't say the only black member, but it says a member of the Losers Club who fought against it.
Good. Good. Progressive.
Yeah, both of them are librarians. I find this is another place where actually I kind of prefer some of what's happening in the original. I find Mike to be more generally helpful
What?
in the miniseries. Cause
Oh,
like,
yeah.
in the Isaiah Mustafa's character is constantly like leaving information out.
Yeah.
To try to manipulate everyone to go along with his plan.
Yes.
Which gets to be a bit annoying.
Yes, it does.
When your life's on the line.
Especially, but also like he's pretty much the learned one. Like
Right.
But meanwhile, the fat kid is he in the new ones he reads everything.
Right.
So it's like, so what does Mike do?
Right.
He just has the nail gun. Like that's it.
That's kind of it. Yeah, I think that's like, it's just really interesting. I think that they're trying to do more from the book in It Chapter 2 because there's more talk of like these different rituals.
Yeah.
Like the background of what the monster is and like its encounter with Native Americans in Derry and stuff like that. But like Mike, who has all the information, and it's so much more obvious in this film because they're just better at like telling the story
Yes.
in a lot of ways. He knows so much that they can't know because they were out of town.
Yeah.
But like instead of being like, all right, I'm gonna trust that my friends who made this promise to me are going to like go along no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just not gonna fucking tell them.
Yeah. I'm gonna let them remember.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I drugged you guys' stuff. Like,
Calm down.
I had to drug you so that you would go through the ritual.
Yeah.
And like there was an artifact where it was like, yeah, there was a piece missing. I didn't want to tell you about. And it's like that to me started to get kind of annoying.
What a dick.
Yeah, it's a dick move. Like,
Yeah.
you know, as much as like Mike's only purpose in the original film was just be like, come back and then like from time to time be like, here's more information. Like at least he's not an asshole.
Oh, but did you forget about his most important role? Giving Bill back his Quicksilver, his bike. And then it goes on a 5-minute montage of them doing tricks on the bike. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
That was like it's like do 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 do
really
do
is.
do do. He's
It
like
really
riding,
is.
going, ooh. I was like, oh look, no hands. I was like, oh, I fucking hope a bus hits you both. Like, and then they have like, he goes over the ramp, and the ramp is like 6 inches off the ground.
Like,
like he's
like
evil
the biggest jump
Knievel.
ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like he's fucking evil Knievel. Like, and then like putting his legs up on the handlebars. Like, oh, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
You're 40. Stop doing
Yeah,
that.
it's ridiculous.
Like, you remember this bad boy? Do I remember?
It's like it's interesting how much they have Isaiah Mustafa's character kind of moving the plot along with like the It sort of lore,
Yes.
while Bill, James McAvoy in this sense, is like so singularly focused on finding and killing It that like he's almost going on his own
Yeah.
side adventure because he's following like a kid who ends up getting like trapped at some point.
Yeah.
And like he's full steam ahead. Like he would have taken the ayahuasca.
Yeah. He would have done it without you having to trick him.
You could just tell him what's going on. And that guy would be like,
Yeah. All right.
because he's truly a leader.
But I feel like they all would have.
I think like
It
for the
would've-
most part, all of them would.
Maybe
not
Eddie.
Richie.
Or Eddie.
Yeah,
I don't think Eddie would have.
I
Like,
just,
I'm not taking hallucinogenic drugs.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
right. I could see that.
And like, when Beverly, maybe her because she's already seen like the old woman.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm already tripping balls.
That's
like
true.
I don't need any more help.
That's true. Yeah.
But I still think they would have.
I
Like
think-
it would have taken prodding, but they would have done it.
Yeah, I think that like because everyone is so
Also,
Competent.
we're all pretty sure Mike is just this is. I feel like this is an excuse for him to lose thousands at a Native American casino.
I think that's totally
I
what's
think
happening.
this is where he learned what he needed
Right.
at the
Right.
blackjack table, betting hard 17, betting the library budget on hard 17.
He's just trying to get staked by his boys.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know I called you all back here to fight a clown.
Yeah.
I need like
I
$5,000.
need 55. He's like 55.
It was Deary, you know.
Yeah.
5
That Lincoln pension ran out.
so ridiculous. But going back to like James McAvoy's character is truly a leader in this film, and I don't think he would have needed much prodding.
No, I
he
don't
would have
think he
like
would've.
brought people along.
Also, one thing I don't know, I don't really like in the new one, is I'm never sure what they remember.
Yeah,
Like, she remembers her father, she remembers the torture, she remembers, like, but that was, like, all part of it, but they don't remember, like, in the in the miniseries, no one remembers anything.
Right.
Which, okay, if you're not gonna remember anything, don't remember anything. And they're not very good actors, so it's pretty believable.
It's very
pretty believable. But
well, since you're bringing her up,
Yeah.
we'll do it right now. Annette O'Toole in 1990 portrays Beverly
Tool
Marsh.
is right.
It did say Marsh on the doorbell.
They float down
The only female member of the Losers Club and a fashion designer who has lived in both an abusive family and an abusive relationship. In the 2019 film, Jessica Chastain plays Beverly Bev Marsh, the only female of the Losers Club who's abused physically and sexually by her father and bullied at school over false rumors of promiscuity.
Your hair is winter fire. January embers. My heart burns there too.
Did we didn't. That was kind of like a thing too, that she was abused sexually by her father. But was she? Like no.
In the remake,
In the book, I think it's pretty established she is.
I think
in the remake, it's creepy.
I think
It's definitely abusive, but I don't know if it's sexually abusive.
I think it is like, if you watch like It Chapter 1,
yeah,
it's heavily implied.
yes,
that is sexual.
I guess you're right.
That's why she cuts her hair.
I just don't remember what we landed on.
I think from what I remember, I landed on like I found it unsettling how sexualized she is by her father.
And I just came and turned off the movie after.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm done.
Like that part bothered me. Nice.
Cut the hair.
But like what I was saying in the last time we recorded on this was that you had the scene where she's traumatized by her father, and it makes her cut her hair.
Yeah.
Because she's being heavily implied. So that's where I landed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I remember we talked about it, but I don't remember I believe it either way.
Yeah.
I don't really have a firm stance, believe it or not.
Yeah. Believe it or not.
And in the in the miniseries, it's not really.
Nah,
he's an abusive guy.
It's
But
like
he's kind of just a dick.
yeah, he's an asshole. He's like a hard-nosed guy,
Yeah.
probably physically abusive to her.
Yeah.
But
it was almost like it's not like he was just a bad father. Like it wasn't like in this one, it's like, oh, he's a monster.
yeah, he was a complete monster.
Yeah, he was a complete
in this
monster.
film.
But in the first one, it's like this guy just doesn't know how to raise a daughter. Like
Yeah, he's like a single father.
father who
the
always
school
wore
janitor.
overalls.
And honestly, in a time where like, you know what, like that isn't necessarily terrible parenting.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
he wasn't alone.
She had a pretty good life.
Yeah, yeah. All things considered. Yeah, because like when we were talking the last time, not that it really mattered, but like I found it a little unsettling. The scenes with her father, them being kind of like followed up with some of the coming of age, like the boys kind of the puberty kind of moments and stuff like that. Because I felt like that messaging was like little awkward.
Yeah.
But I think that what the remake obviously does better is portraying the trauma,
Yeah.
right? And that's for all the characters. Like their trauma is much better defined.
Yeah, much more on Front Street.
And it's better defined between the kids and the adults.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like I think
And the link between
Yes.
those, like you could clearly see what they're like. Whereas, like I said, might as well have been like they could have been Asian. It didn't matter.
Yeah, that they pull off.
But like Beverly, and then in the miniseries, her abusive husband. Oh God, like with his awful chest hair.
Yeah, the chest hair.
Like that was like one of those like I would have loved to have been in the room. It would have been worth her getting abused just so I could have been there.
Yeah.
Like like to pull a Rocky V. Like you knocked her down. Why are you knocking me down?
Oh, she's knocking me down.
And like, cause that guy was like so unintimidating. It's like get the fuck out of here. This guy.
Yeah, that guy looked like a real.
Yeah, it's like this loser.
And
by the way, put a shirt on.
Yeah, put a shirt on. He tucks his belt off. There was nothing intimidating about him.
Nothing at all.
Which is why she kind of kicks his ass.
Yeah.
she actually, yeah. In the original film, Ned O'Toole actually like kind of kicks his ass. Is like, don't come fucking near me again.
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain is in a much more like fraught position. And
Yes.
I think, again, that's what this remake does well. Is like,
Yes. And then the video we discussed, we saw
oh yeah,
that they were discussing, like, I don't know how Beverly seems too smart. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
No.
Like,
being smart has nothing to do.
you
with
fall into the same tropes.
Yeah.
How many toxic women have I dated in my life that I never seem to learn?
Well,
And then same thing, but with her, she's just. I'm sure that's a repeating pattern throughout her life.
she's influenced by her trauma.
Yeah.
You know.
And how many people have you known in life that do that? You're like, you're with that guy?
Yeah.
Or whoever.
It happens all the time.
Or that girl?
It happens all the time, and like unfortunately, typically you only see kind of like flashes of it as like an outside observer.
Yeah.
So, like there's a reason why people get away with it for so long.
Time's up, Reggie.
Yeah.
Hashtag time's up.
Time is up, but you know, other than actually we're not saying anything negative at all. I just think that like it's so obvious that Jessica Chastain's like
Perfectly cast?
perfectly cast, better
actress.
Yep.
Better looking.
Just doing everything. better.
Everything better.
Like Annette O'Toole, like just kind of just falls in with the rest of the cast, and there's nothing.
She might as well. Yeah, she might as well have played Bill's wife too. It didn't
Might as
matter.
well, like,
Dude.
which is rough. Like, so you know, there's this element where Beverly has like this relationship with another character who we're going to talk about next. This relationship with another character, and it kind of like doesn't matter from her side in the miniseries
At all.
versus like this remake where both these characters play off each other very well.
Yes, that in the miniseries they could have had less chemistry if they were in two different movies.
It's pretty.
It's
crazy.
bad. It's so bad.
So
It's like they fall in love because the script told them to.
that's basically it. That's basically it. We'll get into her kind of love interest and how that plays right now.
Which one?
Exactly.
Love triangle.
Whoop, whoop. In the 1990 miniseries, John Ritter portrays Ben Hanscom, an architect who also became a bodybuilder. Didn't see that.
Haystack. Putting on a little weight, huh?
Bodybuilder.
After being obese as a child.
Yeah, that didn't show up in the
I
miniseries.
didn't think he was a bodybuilder.
Bodybuilder?
I thought he
I saw his very fancy award that he won.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, driving. Oh no, he wasn't driving. He was in the limousine.
He wasn't a little
Drunk
he was,
as
he was
fuck.
hammered as shit.
Yeah.
He was definitely going fuck.
He's going fuck in that loft that everyone had in the 90s.
Yeah.
The loft they lived in. Oh man.
No, you see
I would
all
kill
kinds
for that
of,
loft.
You could see it in all kinds of films.
With that elevator where you like lift the door
Yep.
up. That's.
Yep.
Oh,
that's
man.
in so many 90s.
I know.
It's in The Fly.
It's in The
Like-
Fly. It's in Wayne's World 2.
Yeah.
It's in so many things.
Wild.
New Girl, they live in one. Although that's not the 90s,
But, you know, it's referential.
yeah, but I would fucking. How much, dude? I would prefer a loft over any other goddamn house.
And then, like, it doesn't seem to matter what socioeconomic position you're in.
Doesn't matter
Everyone-
because I could be worth $40 million and I would live in that loft and it would look dope.
Yeah.
But it would still like, oh yeah, that's like a rusted wheel that you turn to let the steam out. Like
so good.
oh, it'd be so good. And John Ritter, I'll tell you what, he gives it everything he has.
Totally.
Fucking Three's Company's doing his thing.
Yeah, just to play off of that, in 2019, Jay Ryan plays Benjamin Ben Hanscom.
I'll be honest, I don't know who that is.
He was the guy who...
Yeah, I know.
I
Yeah.
know. This is the one casting decision, and like...
Correct. I was just gonna say this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where, like, this is the one that, like, doesn't fit.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to get Taylor Lautner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't. Also, he also looks too young.
He looks too young. He looks nothing like the kid, which is
No.
kind of the point, but
Yeah,
like,
I think he might
it's a
actually
little-
be Native American.
it's a little too much, like, not like that kid.
Yeah.
That kid was blonde.
The kid was blonde and like he was like so like rosy cheek white and whatever. And by the way, I thought the kid was so good.
The kid was great.
I thought the kid, and then he was just like, meh.
Yeah.
Like,
The kid brought a lot of the emotion
Yeah.
into the acting, and like you could feel for him and you know what he was going through.
and everything that like he was moving around and stuff like that, and because he moved around a lot, and not only that, but he was like an outcast. Also, like he was like really a fat kid. Whereas
Right.
like the other one, we talked about this in the last episode. He was just kind of like, he's not really fat. Like,
No.
he's just. I bet that kid's pretty good at football.
Like that kid becoming John Ritter kind of made sense because
Yeah.
like John Ritter was just like super confident.
Yeah.
Obviously an award-winning architect.
Which that exists.
Sure.
I guess. Sure.
Banging chicks, drinking whiskey, just living his life. The kid in the miniseries was confident already,
Yeah.
right? Unlike the kid in the remake who was, like you said, like a true kind of like fat kid.
Yeah. And because he would like learn, like just what he would read. Like he knew so much because he would read by himself.
Right.
Like, yeah, he was in the library. Like I believe that. I actually believe that guy would grow up to be, the next, what's his name? I forget that. Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
He would grow up to be that guy.
What's interesting, going back to this casting of Jay in the remake, is the kid in the remake series is like you said, he's doing all this reading. He's from out of town, so like that's why he's doing all the research.
Yeah.
And why he takes over the role of like backstory and exposition about like the history of the town from Mike's younger self. Older, no,
No. Nothing.
I'm just in love with Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, I stopped at 13. Once my dick got hard, I was done.
He was done thinking.
I was done thinking, which, you know what, for a lot of us,
It's true.
it's exactly what happens. That's what happens. Beware, kids. As soon as whatever you find gets your rocks off,
Yeah.
you just gravitate towards that.
It's just interesting that like they did so much in the It part or chapter 1 to make this character like the intellect, the historian kind of, which is not what we see in the miniseries. And then they just lose that to then give it back to the character
Yes.
who does it in the miniseries, which is Mike Hanlon. So I don't know. I feel like this is like a misstep here.
Yeah. On that one.
Because, like, honestly, we're building all this, like, backstory for everyone else and, like, fleshing out their adult lives. He's just like, I'm not fat anymore.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm pretty ripped, huh?
Yeah.
And that's my character now.
His character is like, I'm kind of ripped.
Look at his
and-
abs.
And I should probably tell Jessica Chastain that I'm into
Yeah.
her.
I got pretty good hair, too.
Yeah. He's a good-looking guy.
He's good looking, too.
Doesn't look like that kid.
I don't think that guy had a thought in his head.
Doesn't act like that kid
No,
either.
doesn't act like that kid at all. And
Which makes him the one outlier in this film.
yeah, he's the one. That's just whatever. All right, I guess we'll move on to Eddie.
Yeah, let's move on to Eddie. Like, yeah.
Or as I call him, Ziggy Sabatka.
Let's do it. We're pushing the pace here. Yeah. In the 1990 miniseries, Dennis Christopher portrays Eddie
I fucking
Casbrack,
hated him.
Wheezy, how's your sex life? What's your sex life?
an asthmatic limousine service runner
God.
who's lived with his overbearing mother into his adult life. This dude could have been Jeffrey Dahmer in,
Yeah,
this,
oh, absolutely.
in that Netflix series.
100%.
Like,
100. And I remember thinking that when I watched you took the words out of my mouth. Before the Netflix series came out and all that stuff, I remember watching him, like, because I remember Jeffrey Dahmer, and this was kind of around the same time. I was like, this guy kind of looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. Just saying. He's pretty weird.
like, they're trying to play him as, like, this kind of successful limousine business owner, kind of. And, like, all I'm seeing is, like, creepy dude.
Yeah.
Like, just serial killer. Like,
I just love how, even if he didn't die, which he does die, spoiler alert, he dies in both of them. That I love how his story ends with being crushed by Uber. Okay? So
it's true. Just to talk about everyone, James Ransome in 2019 plays
yes,
Edward Eddie
Ziggy
Casbrack.
Sabatka, from the son of Frank Sabatka, who was head of the union at the labor, the longshoreman in The Wire season 2.
That's true. James Eddie is a member of the Losers Club, a hypochondriac, and a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yes, and also, how great is it that his mom was cast as his wife?
That's
That's
so
perfect.
It was perfect.
Perfect.
He's also, in this case, he's a successful risk analyst for an insurance firm. So again, like
Yes, he would be, by the way.
leaning into what that kid would do.
Yes, he would. That's exactly what he would do.
You don't think that kid would run a limousine service? You
No.
think he'd be like a
Absolutely not.
He would be like a bureaucrat, insurance, risk analyst, everything could go wrong type
Yes,
guy.
exactly. And that kid, a limousine service is a gamble. That kid is not gambling.
That kid's not taking
He's not taking a
Taking a
chance.
risk. Yeah. And
And I'm so happy they got away because they don't do. I don't remember. Refresh my memory. They don't. Eddie in the 2019 one, the older one, he doesn't have the asthma anymore, right?
no, the asthma's kind of gone. They
Good.
don't have to.
Because it was so. Like you're like, yo, you're not gonna be 40 and then like
Right.
still think you have asthma.
Right.
Like
Right.
I know you're a hypochondriac, but they clearly tell you it's water.
Right.
So it's not like you're not gonna play into it anymore. Like you're not gonna waste the money.
Well, like you said with the casting of his mom as his wife as well, that's the focus. That like you are married to your mother.
Yes.
Like in this case, obviously quite literally, but like
Seymour Skinner.
it's not the asthma, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not the problem this kid has.
Yes.
Like the miniseries misses the mark there with focusing on the asthma so much, especially because the fake asthma spray is what kind of
kills it.
It.
This is acid, you battery acid slime ball.
You're like, is it? Like, have you been breathing battery acid the whole time?
It could be so good.
That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But like,
And he's like, oh!
yeah. And this with like the
And
mom
it
being
works.
the focus.
Yes.
I know. It shouldn't have worked.
Anyway.
It's just better.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so much better with the mom.
better.
Like, he's got those. It's like abandonment issues, but also like overbearing issues, and the taught to be afraid of it. Like that woman is never leaving.
Right.
him, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like and not only that, but he's also what I liked about him. Like the other guy, creepy.
Right.
In the
Just
90s,
creepy.
one creepy, and just like, could you please go over there? Like I don't want to sit next to you.
Right.
Like
It looks a little too much like Bill's character. Luckily, the ponytail differentiates him.
Oh,
But like,
fucking yeah, he looks too much like Bill, and Bill's like fucking those aviators that everyone had.
Right.
Like, that's like, what are you?
Right.
Who thought this is a good idea?
it was a mess.
Yeah, and also like, but you could see Eddie, like that Eddie in the 90s. You know he does something weird, like clips his toenails while he eats.
Yeah,
or something
something-
weird. But you're like, this
something
is fucking. Could you stand over there, please? You fucking weirdo.
Fuck you.
And so like, there's nothing about him that you're like. But the other guy, the Ziggy Zabatka, he's like a good looking dude.
Yeah.
Like so
Yeah.
that's what's good about it. Like he's a good looking guy that he grew up to be. And the kid is not a bad looking kid
Right,
either.
right.
So it's like, yeah, he wouldn't like grow up to be like this like fucking
Right,
And so the fact that he marries like someone like that's exactly like his mother, it's again the whole safe thing.
Right.
Like that she's never gonna leave him. And he's not gonna leave her, but it's like he doesn't want to do that, but he's doing it because it's
Right. It's the Munchausen by
Yes.
proxy. Like they lean into that a bit more. He is dependent on his mother.
Yeah, and it's great.
And then to shift that into his wife going forward.
Yeah.
And like even in the small time where Mike calls him and he's in the car.
In the car.
But he's got his wife on the other line or whatever, and she's like, oh, like you gotta be careful. And he's
Yeah.
like, he's starting to kind of like lose it, and
Yeah.
he gets in that accident. Like that scene is so much more powerful for his character than like
Definitely.
anything you see in a miniseries.
Definitely.
And like, although this character ultimately takes really a backseat, he's not that critical of
Yeah.
to the story. But like to flesh him out like that was a major upgrade.
But in the miniseries, I just wanted to be like,
like-
what, can you not afford Andy Dick?
Yeah.
Like,
Seriously,
shut up!
seriously.
You weasel.
But definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything we're missing there, but I think we
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
kind of landed.
Yeah, I don't
Eddie.
think you.
And you're right, he does die, but like it.
And also, he's I guess, the apple of the eye of Richie.
That's a good point.
We're gonna do Richie.
That does come into play.
I think we could do this from memory.
Yeah, from memory.
Harry Anderson plays him in the Harry Anderson of Night Court fame, and also Cheers.
Yeah, Mike Hanlon. That I had to go. That I had to get cleaned up.
Yep. And then
Harry the Hand.
Harry
the Hat, sorry.
And then Bill Hader.
And Bill Hader plays him as an adult.
Richie Tozier.
Richie Tozier.
We'll come back to you.
So, both these characters are stand-up comedians, and you.
But I don't know if Harry Anderson is. I don't know if he's a stand-up comedian. I don't know what the hell he is. Does he have a talk show?
Game show host?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell.
That's a good point.
He's a comedian, I guess.
Yeah. So stand-up may not be it, but like a comic.
A comedian, an entertainer. He's definitely an entertainer. I don't know, but it could be radio. Like I don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
It could be midday.
Yeah, it could be anything.
That's true. Like when you see the film, he's like, and I'm out. It's
Yeah,
like,
and he's got like a tennis racket. And you're like,
yeah.
And then he's drinking champagne when he gets the call.
It could be late night because like they film it during the day.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell.
It was weird as hell.
And Bill Hader's a stand-up.
Yeah.
Which I think is, when you think about it, like, can you imagine, like, you found out Patton Oswalt had to go back to his town, wherever he's from, and then had to kill this fucking demonic clown.
I could imagine that.
Or Louis C.K.
Who's the guy? Oh, Jim Norton would be great.
Oh, Jimmy? Yeah, I'll kill you, fuck you.
Jim Norton would actually be the perfect person to have to go back.
Yo,
and
to Edison, New Jersey.
Yeah, to kill his demons.
Yes.
That would work.
Or where we are in beautiful New Brunswick, New Jersey.
And like, Bill Hader's portrayal of stand-up, though no one ever gets stand-up right in a movie,
Never.
This was like, it was fine enough.
Yeah, it was good.
It wasn't like funny, but it was like, yeah, that's what a stand-up might
Also, Bill Hader's a good actor.
He is.
So, I thought it was good. I thought he was, and also, again, perfect casting.
Perfect casting, looks like the kid, acts like the kid, like when he's like despondent about certain things, he's just like.
And also, like, it was the addition to that, I guess he's gay?
Yeah, that was, I guess, I fluctuate, like, I think it's a good touch in terms, like, it's there, it's kind of who the character is, but it does feel like it kind of comes out of, like, nowhere.
Yeah, it does kind of come out of nowhere. Like, I think that's what they were kind of going for with the gay murders in the beginning.
I thought that so too, that it was trying to like pull that back, and why he may have been in the closet because people need to just get openly gay bashed in this town.
Shut up, Bill.
Yeah.
Richie, sorry.
And like when he's a kid, one of his first kind of like crushes, I guess, is the bully's cousin.
Yeah.
You know, so like that comes into play.
Yeah, but he's definitely attracted to Eddie, right?
He is.
Yeah.
He is. That's I think he does the heart.
Yeah.
So the Eddie and Richie, E&R or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That translation was a little rough.
Yeah,
I kind of missed that.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, okay. Like, I just didn't think it added anything. I didn't think it made it more. I guess it gave him something more to work with, but I think it was just like a justification for all the dick jokes.
Yeah.
But that's so like cliche. You know, like it's like, oh, he makes all these dick jokes because he's gay. It's like he's not. Like you and I make dick jokes all the time.
Dick jokes.
Yeah. And we see
Yeah.
people do dick jokes constantly. That
I think dick jokes are just
they're just funny.
They're just
It's just funny. It's
like-
so stupid.
fun. I got a little dick.
Yeah, I got a little dick. It's pathetic.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
Go back to episode 69, True Lies.
Yes. 6'9".
Yeah. Just to give the audience an idea of what the production on this podcast is, we are filming today and releasing episode 69. So, like, by the time you hear this, you'll know how many episodes have passed between. So, like, a little behind the curtain for the true fans. All one of you.
Or in the sewer drain, as we like to say over here, where we all float down here.
Now, I will say, though, that Night Court, of all the adults in the original, I think
he's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Like, he's funny.
Definitely.
He's hitting on chicks.
He's trying.
Pennywise is, like, tormenting him. He really is the only person that I felt like the Pennywise torment was landing for me.
Yeah.
Like, that library scene.
The library scene where he's just annoying him.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, that really showed me Pennywise's kind of, like, power.
Yeah.
In theory, that, like, he's torturing Richie. No one else can see it. And, like, you see so many elements of, like, what Pennywise is doing and kind of how it works.
Yeah.
In the scenes with Richie versus anybody else. Like,
Also,
well, maybe a Neto too.
he's the only one who had the only rational idea.
Mm-hmm.
How about we get a gun?
Smartest guy in the fucking...
Smartest guy in the fucking losers
Smartest guy in
club.
the game.
Just, yeah, get a fucking. Why don't you? They should all be coming in like Schwarzenegger and Commando.
I'm telling you, I'd have like machetes. And
Yeah,
shit
machetes like coming in with like the two like swords coming out of your back, but you also have like two machine guns, like almost like
Like Casey Jones.
a heavily armed Casey Jones. Exactly where I was going.
So, oh man, yeah, no, I like going back to what you were saying towards the beginning of the podcast. What we would do in this situation, yeah, we would come strapped, dog.
Oh,
like,
forget it.
that clown. would
I'm not
stand
even a gun
chance.
guy.
No, me neither.
But guess what?
In this situation,
Danny the Kid's coming with two pistols on his side. It's like ba 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 ba.
most of the movie with us would be at like the fire range, like never shot a gun before.
Yeah.
Like,
And most of it would be like us at the bar, like taking shots. Like, I'll figure it out. We don't need to go. We're shooting a clown, right?
yeah.
How many clowns are in the sewer? Turns out there's a lot more than you thought.
Now, what's interesting with the Richie character and his queerness, right? Is that who he is? I don't know if the movie doesn't, I don't think defines it, but like, is that who he is as an adult, or is this coming back because he's back in town?
No, I think he's
He's
I think
actually gay.
Yeah, I think he's gay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
I think so too, but like,
I think maybe
his childhood memory of this is like,
I
guess
think
that's
the
where it gets
childhood memory of
maybe the Eddie.
Eddie,
Yeah,
that
maybe that's what it is.
maybe that's what it is. And I think there's like an underlying, which he does a great job of, like the underlying depression about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of also in stand-up if you're gay. I feel like there's a very high closeted because you
I
want
think
to
so.
appeal to as many people as possible.
I think
And also,
so.
like I know on stage that I don't tell certain parts of my life
Sure.
so that I could do jokes about
Right.
something else.
Right.
Like
Same.
I do all these. I'll do jokes about my sister constantly, and people are like, "Oh, that's really wrong." It's like, well, it's not really wrong. I don't even have a sister.
Right.
Like, it's just
Right.
so. It's all like just a joke on that. So I could see that, like, and that could add to. It's like, oh, I'm sitting there talking to my girlfriend and blah blah blah.
Right. Like the kind of the.
But meanwhile, he's just alone. Yeah.
Right.
And he's too famous now that he can't like them gay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is compelling. Like I said, although it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
is
it's
kinda
interesting, but it's not. It's completely unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, but like like you said, interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess what's interesting is that the clown Pennywise, is outing him.
Yes.
Like, which another level of villainry.
Yo, fucking this guy. Not only is a homophobe, he's fucking.
I mean, that's a form of violence. you know?
Yes, seriously.
But no, Bill Hader he's a very compelling character to follow.
The most woke podcast we've done yet. Go ahead.
Somehow, I don't know how
Somehow.
that happened. No, it's just like he's a compelling character. I think he's got a lot of good backstory.
Yes.
And even though it's not necessary per
It's
se,
not.
it's still like it's good that we're in a universe where characters.
It does
can be
round him
fleshed
out.
Yeah,
It rounds him out.
I think it definitely helps
because
like,
it's also kind of like, well, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Like, in the miniseries, it's like, so you're not married, you're not anything. Like, what are you doing? Like, I guess I can say the same about my life. I'm literally about the same exact age.
Yeah.
I'm literally almost the exact same thing as Bill Hader, and I'm not gay, and I'm not married, so I can't.
So what's your excuse?
Yeah, so it's like I don't have it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a fucking asshole in my 20s. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Happens to the best of us. Nah, but no, just I guess overall good character. But like this is probably the closest. Bill Hader still runs away with it, but this is probably the closest between the two series. Like Night Court.
Yeah.
Night Court wasn't bad.
Yeah. No, he wasn't bad.
He's pretty.
Yeah.
He was.
Harry the Hat was good.
Yeah, he was fun to follow for sure.
Yeah, I dug it. I love him though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like I've grown up watching him. You know.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Let's see. Going back into other characters. No.
Also died tragically too young.
Really, the only character left, and we're going to talk Pennywise again after this too,
Yeah.
but really the only character left, I believe,
Powers
is our friend Stan.
Oh, Stan. Oh, I forgot about Stan.
Yeah, everyone forgets about Stan. He's forgettable. In the original 1990 film, Richard Mazer portrays Stanley Uris, a real estate broker who was a Jewish Boy Scout as a kid.
Which I feel like Jewish is just his character.
Right. The Jewish is just his character. Probably in both films.
Yeah.
And then Andy Bean, who plays Stan Uris, a pragmatic member of the Losers Club who aided in the battle against it in 1989.
I think that was probably the creepiest part of It Chapter 1, I think, was the picture of the woman.
Okay. Wait, I'm trying to...
In the Hebrew school. When he was studying for the Torah.
Yeah.
I was studying the Torah for his bar mitzvah. And the painting of the I guess it was a Jewish woman. I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
A surrealist painting. That was probably the creepiest.
That's
part.
pretty creepy.
I think that was. I remember thinking like, I feel uneasy here.
Yeah.
But Stan, I just want to pose this question: why does Stan commit suicide?
He, according to the remake, who tries to flesh this out, which, by the way, shouldn't have.
Yeah, that was such a waste. I was like, who's this letter from?
That was real dumb. A big misstep by the remake to try to like make you feel okay about Stan's suicide.
Yeah.
And I think that's because we spent so much time with the kids in It Chapter 1 that they're assuming that me as an audience member
that I care about
would
Stan.
care. I don't. Stan, according to the film, kills himself because he's too afraid to face it again and would only hold them back. So rather than facing his fear, he'll kill himself so that they'll have a better chance of beating it. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Bullshit rationale. Everyone's afraid of it.
Yeah.
Everyone.
You're taking like fucking Kenny Rogers fucking exit. Like I know when to fold them.
Yeah.
And then that's you just don't go.
Don't go.
You're fucking gonna kill yourself over this? Like that's not even.
Don't go.
Oh, I didn't get your message.
I'll say that the remake actually.
And don't tell me he had integrity because he killed himself
No,
instead of going. I would rather like someone blow me off than kill themselves to hang out with me.
I don't know if this is it's kosher, probably not. But like they used to call it the coward's way out.
Yes.
So, not necessarily suicide is the whole thing. Mental health, if you need help, get help, all that stuff. But like in this particular case, the miniseries is really muddy. Him killing himself, he just kind of kills himself.
He just kind of does, and it kind of like he wrote it in blood on the bathroom wall because he slits his wrist in the bathtub.
I just ignored that.
Yeah, and he wrote it on the wall.
Terrible.
I was like, "That's your dying move." You're like, like it doesn't make any. God, so they'll know.
Right.
But
because the docuseries jumps back and forth between.
That's the end of part 1, though.
Yeah.
When
he kills himself?
Yeah.
Okay. So, from a TV miniseries perspective, if I had watched it as.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually not a bad ending.
Yeah, it's not.
It was pretty fun.
That's part 1, dude.
Never mind, I'm wrong.
But he, and they tried to justify it in that is because he was the last one to see Pennywise.
Yeah. Well, I think they did a better job in the miniseries of somewhat, like him having another encounter with it outside of them.
Yeah.
An extended encounter, which is why he's so afraid. I think the remake, when they're kids, does a better job of it because Stanley's like, you promised me, Bill and everyone else, he's like, you promised you weren't going to let me, you weren't going to leave me alone. So, he's traumatized because they kind of,
let him down.
Yeah. Which ultimately, I guess, leads to him killing himself, which then ultimately leads to, it's much more legible in the remake, but, it doesn't make it better.
No.
Right?
I kind of, see, what I thought they were going for this is kind of how I always interpreted it, is that since he was the last one to see it, and didn't he see the deadlights?
I think he saw the deadlights.
He saw the deadlights.
I agree.
And so, I always kind of interpreted it, could be completely false, but that he, kind of it was always a part of him.
Yeah.
And since he moved, that he never really faced it.
Right.
And then once he heard about it, it awoke in him, and then kind of it made him kill himself.
Well, I'll tell you that that's not a bad theory.
Yeah.
Given how the bully is affected by it.
Yeah.
In the films. I don't even remember that kid's
Henry
name.
Bowers?
Yeah, Henry Bowers. We'll get to Henry Bowers in both films and then come back to this.
Henry Bowers is the most unthreatening old man. Why is he so old, too?
It's ridiculous.
He is 87 years old, and granted, I know he's a little older by like 2 years.
Alright, let me get old Bowers. In the 1990 film, Michael Cole played Henry Bowers. And in 2019, Teach Grant is Henry Bowers.
Teach?
Yeah, his name's Teach.
Fuck is
That's
that?
the guy's fucking name. I don't know what to tell you.
Yo, Teach.
Yo, Teach.
You know, there's also a great rapper out there. His name is William Shakespeare.
Oh,
Yo,
shit.
Teach.
One of them dead poets, son. So, to your theory, right? Henry Bowers has like speaking kind of relationship
Yeah.
with it. Now, I don't know if even he has to go back to Derry. I think the
Yeah.
institution he's in isn't
in Derry, though.
but like he saw the deadlights.
Yeah.
That's why his hair's white.
Yeah.
And why he has a connection. So your theory
Yeah.
makes sense.
I think so.
Both characters are probably talking to it
Yeah.
in some capacity. So that makes sense.
It's like a part of him.
Yeah. No, I mean, I could totally buy that. You know, if anyone,
That's what I'm going with, guys. Yeah, leave a comment.
leave a comment if you have a different theory, but
I don't know.
I think that's pretty sound. Speaking of Henry Bowers, since we're talking about, well, one, Stanley Uris, a disappointment in both films
Yeah, they fucking
because,
stink.
yeah, it's like, okay, you just killed yourself and now you're out of the movie. So
Yeah.
That's lame. Write better.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
That guy's one of the ultimate guys
Yeah.
in that movie. He's fucking Veda Saltonfuss's uncle in My Girl.
Jesus.
And I know. And then he's also like one of the top writers in 61 who's writing about Roger Maris. And I don't know what else. He's in a bunch of shit.
That is that guy.
Yeah, he's a that guy, if I've ever seen one. Anyway, but
Henry Bowers also a huge disappointment.
huge.
In both films, but I would say mostly in this remake. Like in the original, at least it's like it's not great,
Yeah.
but it feels like I think they don't like spend a lot of time like getting into it. So like him escaping the mental institution is like it's fine. Like it's not like he just does. I don't really need to know why. It's like oh shit. Like it adds like a little bit of tension.
Yeah.
For a little while, but it's ultimately pointless because he dies without killing anyone.
Yeah, and he stabs Eddie in the cheek.
Yeah. So like he doesn't actually kill anybody in the original, which makes it really pointless. But I think because we don't spend a lot of time with it, I was generally fine with having this like false tension for a short amount of time.
Well, it's kind of like it was almost like you built it up to be this. Not, I guess maybe Stephen King did. It was kind of like building him up to be this villain, but it's like you already have like the villain.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? There's no point to having, and then it's almost like my planet needs me ending.
Yeah.
Like I gotta get out of here. Like
Well, you know, I guess the other thing too is, which I'm probably discounting here, but now I'm thinking about it, is that Pennywise in the original has more limitations. So Henry Bowers is literally brought out because like I can't do it myself.
yes,
So it actually worked. Like I was fine with it because it was like okay, so I guess he can't do this.
yeah,
The remake, there's no indication that
nothing at all.
Pennywise can't do
Not at all.
anything.
Yeah,
Like he can do pretty much whatever he wants.
Correct.
So why does he need Henry Bowers?
yeah, not at all.
That was confusing, and I felt like they spent too much time trying to show me Henry Bowers escaping.
Yeah.
And I was like ultimately,
Just say escaped. Like I just like have a radio.
yeah,
on.
yeah. Like
Like I don't need to.
this is one example where like the original just kind of like half-assing it actually like
Yeah, I'm like
works
that's fine.
out.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's like cool. That was scary.
Especially when you know once you know the payoff of
Mhm.
it, it's like I don't care. It's
Totally.
fine.
No, do I get 10 extra minutes of like, oh shit, that could be a problem? And then it's not. And
It's
okay.
not at all.
But you know, they got me. I was interested.
Eddie gets stabbed in the cheek, and then Mike gets stabbed in the other one.
Yeah.
In the original, which of course they got to stab the black man.
Of course.
They always.
Of course.
But yeah, that's it. Then we just go on to Pennywise.
Yeah.
And Pennywise, I don't think he's. I don't know. How do you?
Let's get into it. So,
okay.
In 1990, Pennywise is portrayed by Tim Curry.
National treasure.
National treasure, great.
In 2 countries.
Except for the one on the end. That's already taken.
I remember you. And I remember we beat you. I'm not afraid of you.
Amazing. We all float. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
2019, we have Bill Skarsgård reprising his particular portrayal of Pennywise, which is taking this more horror film, monster movie angle.
Yeah. Which okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just
to me, it's like I'm not saying the miniseries is like this amazing psychological thriller, but like it's more of a psychological thriller in the sense that like
he's more scary because he's not scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Versus this Pennywise varies between.
He's clearly a monster.
Yeah. Right.
He's clearly.
And it's filmed.
Don't go near him.
It's filmed like a modern horror film.
Yeah.
Jump scares and everything. Which, as I told you, this is my bias again. I'm sure plenty of people love Skarsgård's portrayal, and it is like the physicality of it is amazing.
Yes.
Portrayal.
Oh, he does. He does some crazy, especially when they're in the room, the mirror, the mirrors. Like some of the stuff he's doing there, it's like, yeah,
it's
terrifying.
It's a terrifying, amazing portrayal because of like the mixture of the effects, his acting, his face work, and all that stuff. But I'm also like kind of uninterested in a lot of ways because it feels so referential to modern horror films, which I find personally, again, a personal bias, to be kind of boring because like, okay, you want me to sit in the theater in the dark and be like, get the violins or piano sting and then like jump scare. And it's like,
I know what's coming now.
You got me.
Yeah.
Or the false jump scares. It's like that's kind of the 2 modes those movies work in.
You know what? They did such a bad job of this, and in the second movie, what and people seem to gloss over. He has become how did they kill him? Like
Right.
What are his powers? He is so
Right.
insurmountable. You cannot beat the. He's flying. He's enormous. He's now like he's a Paul Bunyan walking.
No,
he could teleport.
You're right.
What like how? And then they just like talk shit to him.
Right. They bullied the bully basically.
No,
you're right.
No,
The Pennywise in the original film. Again, what I think sometimes movies forget is the limitations are the strength.
Yeah, that's what makes it so you don't know what he could do.
Like, I'm still trying to figure out how this guy works, and like the fact that he's using people to do the things that he can't do.
Yeah.
To me is more compelling because like, okay, you have a limit.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why little kids could beat you. Maybe that's why these adults,
Yeah.
even though they're terrified, might have a shot. Why would these people have a shot at killing this guy in the remake?
Not at all. There's no chance. Like even from the rip, like when Georgie's with the boat, like he crawls away and then he reaches his arm out to get, like you can't even outrun this thing because it would just.
I mean, he's got McAvoy dead to rights
every time.
And in the prison thing, the little glass prison or whatever.
Yeah, and the
like,
wall
I
of
guess
mirrors.
you're just trying to scare. Right, the wall of mirrors. Like, I guess you're trying to scare him more, but like.
But how much do you need to scare him?
He's done. You got him right here. Finish it.
He's been peppered for 27 years.
It's crazy, you know.
I'd just kill them all. Kill them all.
That to me is the weakness.
Like a Monty Python shoe. Just stop. You could.
That's the weakness to me of the new Pennywise is that you've made him so much more.
He's so indestructible.
And indestructible that like. why are like when someone says bring a gun in the original, you're like, wow,
yeah, that might work.
I need a gun, you know.
Yeah, but they beat him with fucking silver.
But in the remake, it was like, I bring a gun. Oh, well, it's like, what is your aversion?
Yeah.
To shooting this? Like,
Yeah, bring a flamethrower.
Anything.
Anything.
A tank. Like this unbeatable demon monster from with native or like I don't know. They try to explain it too much, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like I felt Tim Curry's portrayal is like this understated monster who is fucking with you.
Yes.
He's fucking with you so much that like he's really like I don't even care to scare you right now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to.
Like
you're terrified.
I'll get to you eventually.
Yeah.
Let me do a Prince Albert joke. Let me do is your
refrigerator running? Yeah.
And, like you're gonna think you're making out with some chick and then you're gonna see my clown pants like that to me.
Or you're driving by and there's 7 graves dug and one of them's filled in. He's like digging the grave as the clown.
Yeah.
Like that's creepy.
It's good stuff. And the childhood trauma is allowed to sort of continue, and it brings him back in this childlike state because the monster is playing on that part of their fear, which is why he's acting the way that he's acting, why he's telling the jokes that he's telling, versus this other monster who, like, yes, I'm fucking with your childhood trauma because, like, I'm prodding at it with all this horrific shit.
Yes, but I'm also a monster.
A literal monster. With the big teeth.
That I might as well be God, by the way.
Basically.
Or the devil.
Might as well be. What's the difference?
There is no, like, in this there is, he has all the powers of the devil.
Right. And, they try to explain it a bit in both films, but, like, the more you're in Deary, the more powerful he is.
Yeah.
Now, the original does it kind of stupid with the hussy character.
Yes.
Where it was like, she's kind of like comatose basically, and they're like, oh, I'll just drive out of town.
Yeah.
So like
on fucking the bike.
Yeah. Wiggity whack whack whack
Oh,
whack.
God.
Wiggity whack. But
the ending to both of these movies are terrible.
Bad. Which is more of a disappointment in 2019.
Yes.
Because you did everything else so right.
Yes. That was what made me think about that. Mm-hmm. Of like how it would be. It would be different if you and I, like, and let's say, 5 other people that we know, and we had this trauma, like, we would literally be beating it to death.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it would be Office Space.
Yeah, Office, yes. Die, motherfucker, down. Yes, it would be that, and then, but, like...
The scene would be too long. It'd be 25 minutes long.
It'd be comically violent. And...
It would get funny, it would get scary, it would get funny again.
Like, or let's say, like, not even a gun, just a fucking chainsaw or something. Like, if you just heard, like, beep, beep, Richie,
I know. I just, like, they never really arm themselves.
Never, at all. And they just go into the sewer, willy-nilly. And just, tetanus.
You want to talk about, like, the rituals that they do? Like, the random, like, tomes they have to get to... So, because the remake leans more into like the Stephen King novel, there's like basically a Native American ritual that they have to do.
But that's also I get it, but how do they know it works? It never has.
I know.
How do they know that works?
I gotta go get my old diary. You gotta go get your token from the queer arcade.
Whatever.
Who knows?
None of it makes sense because it doesn't. Like, why would this work? Because it never has in the 200-something year history of this town. So,
yeah, and like I'm under the impression that wouldn't it just come back?
Yeah,
because you've built this monster out so much and like this backstory and lore. They're like, okay, why? Like you're saying, why would the ritual
at all? Yeah,
I guess it did. Right, we saw it work,
but did it?
I don't know.
No, because it didn't.
I would assume that it probably can't.
Yeah.
That you have to keep doing this cycle, I don't know. There's not that sense of...
There's like a whole thing. They do that in the book, and you kind of see what more of it is when it goes back to the turtle. Mm-hmm. That turtle, like, they allude to.
Oh yeah,
Like the turtle,
the godlike.
yeah, it's
turtle.
like basically the universe is on the turtle's shell, and all of creation is on the turtle's back of a shell, and he's the benevolent god, and it is the devil,
Right.
and
It's
it's
like
got
a
the
Thor
two
Loki
sides. Yes,
thing,
Thor
like,
Loki, and it's like,
Heimdall.
and he might yes,
So-
that he's kind of explains to him like the turtle's like, listen, you can't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not be afraid of this thing? Especially in the second one, how do you not be afraid of it?
It's absolutely terrible.
It's like it's terrifying, and isn't true courage not the absence of fear, but
facing
but being continuing on
totally. Somebody said
in
that.
spite of?
Might have been Churchill or
Yeah,
Roosevelt.
probably
Who
is.
knows? Who cares?
Was he afraid of?
But yeah, that's my biggest beef with It Chapter 2. Is one, it's too long.
Yeah,
It's too long of a movie.
it's way too long.
The casting's phenomenal.
Perfect, and the pacing of it's very good,
Pacing's pretty good, even with the length. Like,
and the ending is stupid.
the ending's really weak. So it's like, you're basically taking up almost 6 hours of my time.
Yeah.
And like, filled most of it.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's that you didn't stick the landing.
the landing, but that's very Stephen King-esque.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
And Stephen King, who also makes an appearance in this.
Yeah. And, like, that's kind of like the wink and the nod that's happening a lot with this film, too. Is, with the Bill character in both films, who is a writer who writes bad endings.
Yes.
It's kind of them and Stephen King being self-referential and, like, dumping on himself. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but you actually just wrote a bad ending.
Yeah, it's just a bad ending.
You know?
But it's like, but you could. That's the whole thing with this. I don't know how you could end it because
I don't
the
know
way
either.
they built it up. How could you beat that?
No.
There's no ending that's sufficient.
It's very, like
It's almost like that. You remember that movie End of Days?
Sure.
It's like he beats the devil with a rocket launcher. This doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Like,
It feels, it's another great franchise, but it feels kind of like Final Destination-y. Like, there's not
Yeah.
a thing to beat at this point. It's
Yeah.
just like the nature
You're
like
beating
saying, of the
death.
universe. Right,
doesn't make sense.
right. You can only delay it, it appears.
Yeah.
But in this film, we all assume that they beat it.
For 27 more years at least. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
So I'll do a part 3 to this podcast in 2000. 2000.
2019 plus 27.
47.
It might be. Yeah, no, you're right. 47. Yep.
46.
46.
2046.
Be ready for that.
I plan on being long since dead by then.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But
Are there like any other elements that we need to
I mean, we could talk about like the shots and all that stuff,
Yeah.
of, like the carnival. But I mean,
I think look, the movie shot well.
yeah, it's shot really well, and it's good pacing, like I said. Like, and they focus.
The flashbacks I think feel better.
Yeah, and you definitely think. Yeah, I think we got it.
Yeah, right?
I don't really. I mean, I thought it was pretty well done. I don't think anything was rushed. The only thing that sucked was the ending, and then they just rip its heart out, and then they like. And by the way, I don't know how it could come back either.
Right.
But why not? It has unlimited power.
No, totally.
This could be anything.
That's the thing.
That was my fucking brother. I don't know. Like, who gives a shit?
It's kind of like the MacGuffin factor. Of, like,
Yeah.
It is so powerful that like we saw the ending and we're skeptical.
Yeah.
That that's the ending. Almost too good of a job of making Pennywise
Unbeatable.
Yeah.
It's like Ivan Drago. Where do you go now? Rocky in space? Like,
yeah. Like I said, Skarsgård Pennywise has some.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good, but like I said in the last podcast, and I'm still saying it here, I do prefer Tim Curry.
Yeah,
Like,
Tim Curry's the best.
I mean, again, it could be a bias because it's all the original one, but like it's just the performance is right where it needs to be.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Because I think, do you think Part 2 stands alone as a singular movie? The 2019 one?
Because of all the flashbacks, and I think that's why the runtime is as long as it is, I think it can. It's not like a very strong movie by itself, but
I think one is.
I think one definitely stands alone.
One stands alone. You could have that.
One could have just been it. You know,
Yeah.
like that was fine. That was. I think one is. I think 1 is a much stronger movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I think It Chapter 1 is very strong. The Pennywise stuff feels weaker in 1, but I think it's because they're like implying that it's going to ramp up in 2.
Yeah.
But, like It Chapter 1 is a pretty fucking good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was much more subtle.
Yeah, this is more like over the top, hit you on the head.
Yeah. Also, it was almost like since they were kids, you don't know what was Pennywise and what wasn't.
Right.
Which they think they did a fine line. They walked a fine line doing. Like you don't know what like Bev's father was anything to do with Pennywise or Eddie's mother.
Right.
Or like it's just, or if Henry Bowers himself.
Right. I think like for both films, the kind of part 1 of both of the films are clearly the strongest.
Yeah, I think it's better.
It's just good, and I think like the child actors in both films are really well done. Like they're well cast, they're directed and act well, and it's just really strong. And like part of what's fun about Chapter 2 is we get to revisit them.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too much, but like it's like, oh, those are kids I kind of liked in that movie.
Yeah.
And the casting in It Chapter 2 is really good.
Perfect. Except for what's his name?
But yeah, I think I kind of lost your original question here, but
Do you think it just stands
I think it does, but it's not like
I don't think it's that strong.
not very strong. It's a shaky scaffold.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't think it.
So I guess the question for you is, should this remake exist?
I don't know. I think Chapter 1, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does because I think it's so much better. Chapter 2, I don't think. I don't know. I couldn't say. I kind of say no.
Yeah.
Like it's good. It was kind of like you just had the idea of who to cast, and it was so good
Right.
that you kind of didn't focus on anything else.
Yeah.
That it was like, okay, we'll just go with this.
Yeah. To go with your point here, like It Chapter 1, both of them, right? Like, and we talked about this in the last podcast, but like It Chapter 1 should exist.
Yeah.
It was really well done, paced, like
With a budget too, I think it's so much better.
it's very, very good.
With the exception, I think the beginning to it, the miniseries,
Mm-hmm.
is phenomenal. Like I think Tim Curry as Pennywise in this series would be so much better.
Yeah. No, like if they would have done this series with
Tim
not
Curry.
yeah, I mean
Literally everything
Skarsgård
else.
was great, but like whatever.
But
Not-
everything else is worse.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And that's the thing, like the miniseries is being hard carried by Tim Curry
Yeah.
and the kids.
And the kids, yeah.
And
But I think
the remakes, the kids are carrying these films.
Yeah, I think, and the remakes, though, I think the kids are better.
I think the kids are better.
Yeah.
Overall.
Because you don't want to relate to the clown, right? Like, you shouldn't want to.
But that's where like the miniseries works is that the clown kid combination
Yeah.
is strong. The kids are very strong in 2.
Yeah.
The clown is strong, but like only because of Pennywise only works in the remake because of Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Tim Curry did Pennywise, so like now Pennywise is a classic horror
Yeah.
figure. So like they're like, how are we gonna like play Pennywise? Like it's not like the director or the actor made Pennywise. Sure, it's their interpretation, but like it was already done so well
Yeah, that's true.
that like you're just like
And also, like this, like you
Right.
said, the strong between Tim Curry and the kids, and then I mean, it's still a strong thing. But then in the Chapter 1, but then Chapter 2, the characters are so much even stronger,
characters are very strong.
and that's great writing. They should be. They're adults now, you
Sure.
know, like that. But then Pennywise has to be stronger, so it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, now you're but now you're unbeatable,
Right.
Like now it's like, oh.
It's like in video game terms, they call it like power creep because
Yes.
you keep like introducing elements, like you have to like keep upping the stakes, and like I think that they overtuned Pennywise, and it took away from these characters.
You can fly,
Develop
you can fucking man, you can fucking shapeshift, you can fucking Okay, then he could win.
Yeah.
Okay. That would have been a great turn of events if he killed all of them. If they made, dude, if that was the ending of the movie, he just killed them. Then they made more fucking It movies of just that, and you don't know if he's gonna win. God, yo, what are we doing here? We gotta go.
Nice.
We gotta
go.
go.
Come back, please.
We gotta go write this movie.
Nah, so long roundabout way of saying, I actually tend to agree with you. I think that I believe It Chapter 2 should exist because I'm grading it on the scale of compared to like part 2 of the miniseries, it's so much stronger. It has the same issue though, is that the ending doesn't work.
Stankaroonie.
It doesn't work. You know, and look, I feel for Stephen King. Like, I get that you're making the reference of like I can't make an ending, but like you didn't make a good ending.
Yeah, you didn't make a good ending.
You know, it's like a guy's like, yeah, I know I always strike out, you know, and it's like, it's the World Series, and like,
but then he strikes
struck
out.
Like, no, I don't care. Like,
doesn't make it okay.
Get better, you know? Yeah, that ending, it's tenuous, right? Because all the goodwill gets kind of like somewhat deleted by the ending, but if you could take that ending out, everything else they did was so strong.
Yeah.
Really, the only battle they lost is the Pennywise battle.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, if he killed the kid, the grown-ups, that would have been so good.
Even like maybe a few more.
Do you understand? Like every movie's better when the bad guy wins.
That's true.
It's so much better.
That's true. Yeah, no, I agree.
I've seen some mediocre movies, and the bad guy won. And I was like, this movie deserves an Oscar.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Arlington Road.
I was about to say Arlington Road. Like, I was like Virginia something. No, Arlington Road. No, that ending is amazing.
Yeah.
Go check that out.
Check that movie out.
Yep.
7.
7. Yep.
12 Monkeys.
Yeah, which may be on our
Yeah, it might
list.
be on our list. Okay, so speaking of our list.
Yeah, speaking of our list, the next film that we're doing, Dan, do you got any ideas for what?
I do.
Yeah?
I think it's time to take a trip over the rainbow.
Wow, okay.
To the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Oh, shit.
And, of course, its counterpart, Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Wow, the Wiz. So, what I may include as a bonus, just because I don't think we should do this movie at all. It's not worth it. But for reference point, we should also watch Oz the Great.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it, yes.
So then we'll just talk about that. No need to rewatch it if you don't want to. But yeah, so
I've seen Wicked. I've
seen it all.
Seen it all, baby.
So just for clarity, we're doing The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz.
Yes. Then is there another Wizard of Oz? We're doing the Judy Garland one, right?
We're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to. If we're doing another one,
I've got strong feelings about that film because the VHS era.
Oh.
I watched a lot of Wizard of Oz as a kid.
Yeah, my mom was obsessed with Wizard of Oz.
Makes sense.
Yes.
And we'll get into some theories about whether it's about the gold standard or not.
Oh.
Yep.
I always thought I was about keeping down the Irish.
Yeah, they do that themselves.
I know.
Casual racing. All right.
Bigotry.
That was fun, man.
That was fun.
That was a good
Good.
episode.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers again, man.
Cheers to that. All right.
I'm Reggie Parker.
I'm Dan Farley. You can find me on Instagram at DanFarley18.
You can find me at RP Comedy. Retro vs. Remake, you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, pretty much anywhere you get your podcast.
Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe. If you're on iTunes, 5 stars, if you will. Love the comments. And look, leave comments because I answer them. Even there's a particular person that leaves a lot of them, and I'm a fan of you. But yeah, this has been another episode of Retro vs. Remake. Next episode is The Wiz and The Wizard of Oz. This has been fun, and have a good one.
Signing off.
Signing off. Cheers,
Cheers,
man.
buddy.